Hello and welcome to TCG Buzz. My name is Jacob, and I am joined not only by my regular co-host Speedrobo, aka Ride on Vasse, but also by a very special guest, a very good friend of ours. May I introduce to you in the flesh for a rare appearance, the wonderful Lainz from Card Game Crypt.
I'm not actually a skeleton. I just recently did a box opening and they're like, he's got skin? And it's just
Yeah,
really disappointing.
dude, everybody was just like, "Oh no, two lanes wearing skin. That doesn't feel right."
You got to put it on to do the show. You know, you can't just be a skeleton on a show. That's indecent.
I thought
Yeah,
it was going to
exactly.
be like a situation where that's your familiar.
Oh,
It's
that's
a
my VTuber model that
how
I
about
don't have because I'm not a VTuber.
how about
Your
meat puppet?
VTuber model is being a regular guy. Your actual body is a skeleton. I like this.
No, oh, I'm the familiar and the
Yeah,
skeleton's
yeah, yeah,
the. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
No,
I understand the skeleton's the familiar.
no the familiar slash VTuber model. That's what's going on
Okay.
right now.
Yeah. The
It's not a camera. It's not a recording. It's all computer generated on the card game crypt side.
Yeah, it's a lot of gigabytes and terabytes of, memory to generate this good looking of, a realistic render.
There you go.
So, if you're a TCG Buzz fan, I want to say you are in for a very special treat this episode because this trio here is, I think, the highest amount of obscure niche knowledge you can get about dumb, stupid trading card games. We have all dedicated our lives to knowing what the Beyblade TCG is. So
You put stickers on the cards?
you sure
Yeah.
do.
Yes.
Name
Okay.
name 3 games that use stickers. 3 TCGs that use
Magic,
stickers.
Beyblade, and
Kids Next Door.
Ding ding ding. We got 3. Hell yeah. So we are having a fun discussion today about cheap TCGs. There are so many TCGs out there, many that have sadly passed away. But many that are still alive and thriving, but I don't know if I have to tell you guys this looking at your collections, but did you know that TCGs are expensive?
No. What? No one told me. Is that where all my money went? Is that why I eat ramen every day? Oh, shoot. No.
I don't think you're telling the truth. They're all cheap. I just haven't looked at the internet in 5 years.
And we're going to talk about some cheap ones today. And speaking of cheap TCGs, this is something that we all wanted to give a shout out to, but Hills Wholesale. Big shout out to Hills Wholesale, the GOAT from back in the day. I know that's how several of us built up the collection. Same with Potomac Distribution. I know I got a lot of stuff from
Yeah,
Potomac back in the day. So
Hills looks like a website from, like, 1998 or something. It's
It is
like, is
such a
this
blast from the past.
is this a legitimate website or am I just giving my money to like the void? And like they don't really have customer service either. So you buy it and then like some amount of time later it just shows up.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you just
accurate
trust.
take.
You just trust, and it works. Luckily, they're legit.
So I think it's really important to try a bunch of trading card games, especially if you're a designer yourself. I think all 3 of us here have designed and published games. So we know what that's like. You can gain inspiration from so many games out there. Famously, I read a lot of written works by Richard Garfield, and his primary thing he wanted to send out into the void was please play more games. And I really agree with that. I think one of the best things ever is getting to try out new games, especially with your friends. And I think it's something that not enough people do.
Yeah, I completely agree. I talk to a lot of rookie designers, a lot of first time designers, and it makes my heart sink when I'm like, oh, hey, I see you're working on, I don't know, hypothetically, like something that really like feels like a Yu-Gi-Oh clone, or maybe kind of like a Pokemon clone, like something from a Saturday morning cartoon. And I'm like, oh, hey, have you heard of like Bakugan or Alestrals, right? And they're like, no, I have no idea what either of those are. It's like, oh, maybe, yeah, there you go, Alestral. Like maybe, you know, play games.
Play game.
That's kind of the thesis.
That's one of my catchphrases on the homemade trading card game Discord server is just play game. People talking even like play games for inspiration. Definitely play your game if you're designing one. Some people just like to talk about their game at length. It's like, have you played this yet? And they're like, no, I haven't got there yet. It's like, no, you need to play game. Play
Yeah.
game.
Play games. That's the solution to most of your problems if you're a designer. Just play more games.
We have each picked a couple of games that we think are very affordable to play or to collect, that we think are enticing options, and we're going to recommend a few to you. Please note, not everything from any of these games is going to be cheap. Like, there are a lot of games out there, especially dead card games, where, the first set or the starter decks are really cheap, but some of the later sets that, didn't get printed as much are quite rare and expensive.
Yeah. So this is like a general guide. There's going to be, and we're even going to like recommend the specific products in these games that are cheap and affordable. So go seek those out. Are you guys ready? Because I'm ready to just kick this off. I've got mine ready to go. All right.
Get
So
in there.
I want to start this podcast about primarily dead TCGs by talking about a TCG that everyone thinks is dead, but secretly isn't. Boom, it's Force of Will, baby.
Force of Will, baby.
Force of Will is still alive?
It is. So, like, I love Force of Will so much. So, oh, wow, it's a poster. So much. It is such an inspirational tale for me because Force of Will came out of the gate, had monumental success, lost it all, took every single lick right on the chin, and they've just kept going. It's king shit. I love it. So specifically the products I want to talk about today with Force of Will are
Millennium of Ages.
No.
Reflect, refrain.
Dude, I can't, even though it's cheap, I can't even recommend Millennium of Ages. It's such a terrible product. But the Vingolf sets, you should buy these. Like, just, I don't care who you are, you need to get out there and buy the Vingolf sets right now. Especially Vingolf 2, the Valkyria Chronicles crossover set, is like basically free.
Yeah, I have
will
that.
just
It's
give
pretty
this to
cool.
you.
For those that don't know about Force of Will, it's kind of like I wouldn't want to say it's iFixed Magic because it actually is quite different than Magic, but they turned lands into like their own deck. But instead of like today where a lot of games have a second resource deck and you just automatically get one every turn, you have a leader in this game and they have to rest in order to get you a resource. So there's like a decision making of whether you want more resources or
Yes,
do your
exactly.
leaders thing.
They made the commander card in Magic actually cool. Let me show you. Okay, all right. Let me pull this out because I've got all of my decks from this Vingolf set sleeved up, ready to go, ready for game night. And so you've got your leader card, your ruler, then you've got your land deck. Hiya. And then you've got your main deck. Okay? And your main deck just has creatures, spells, attack, defense, just like Magic. It's, if you know Magic, this is going to be very familiar turf for you. And then, like Tulane said, you tap your commander effectively to pay for the land, but also if you can pay her cost during the game, you can flip her over, and now she's like a superstar monster creature that like kicks ass and flies around and shit, and it's fucking awesome.
I feel like Force of Will really was a trendsetter with the flipping leader cards, rulers, awakening cards, whatever you want to call them. So many games after use it. Not to say games before didn't, but I feel like Force of Will was the game that made that system mainstream. And I mean, look at, just 2 years after the English release of Force of Will, you had Dragon Ball Super coming out with basically the same thing, minus interacting with your resources, and so many other games after that fact.
In World of Warcraft, the heroes flipped face down when you used their ability, and you just couldn't use it for the rest of the game.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Not sure I'd count that one, but-
what if the Force of Will system was less fun? And I mean, like, if you think about it, like the One Piece leader system is basically the same, except you just don't flip. But this is something that I want to piggyback off what Tulane said earlier, because we were talking about this from a designer perspective. I recommend Force of Will for game designers that are wanting to make a Magic style game and want to like fix Magic's problems, because I really do think that it is a fair comparison to say Force of Will in some ways pioneered the I fixed Magic game in the modern day. Sure, there were tons of those back in the 90s, but I think Force of Will really drove that. Yeah, no, yeah, okay, you're right. Liz, we'll get, never mind. I'm wrong and I will shut up. But instead, what I'm going to talk about is why this product is so cool, okay? Because hey, do you want Magic the Gathering, but it's a living card game now? Boom, Vingolf. There's all you get in the Vingolf thing that's randomized, and I think I still have mine, is you get one sealed paper booster pack. No, I don't. It's all playmats. You get one sealed paper booster pack that's just random foil cosmetic cards. Everything else is a set list. And there's 2 Vingolf boxes that are super avoidable. This affordable, this one
Avoidable.
unavoidable. No, unavoidable, more like it. So there's this one, and then there's the one that's based off the gotcha game that's all like, what if historical figures were anime girls that were sexy? That one's less cool. This one does a really good job with the Valkyria Chronicles flavor. I gotta say, if you're a Valk fan, you gotta pick this up. It's worth it. And it is just fun to not have to worry about like, why am I missing cards in my collection? No, if you just play Force of Will Vingolf meta with the boys, you're guaranteed to have a good time. So I recommend that.
That really brings up a general point. If you're looking to get into new card games, look for those standalone box products where it's like a couple of decks to play, or even just single starter decks can be really, really good for just dipping your toes in and getting that experience. Now, if I could recommend a game, it is one that is very important to me. I make sure I am never, ever 10 feet or more away from cards from this game at any time. And that would be Lightseekers. Now there is Lightseekers. It's a great game. It was popular around what, like 2017-ish range, 2016 to like 2018 roughly, I want to say. I'm a really big fan of this game. It's got a really unique system. As long as you haven't played Warhammer Age of Sigma, which is the exact same game, but also different.
It's Age of Sigmar?
Sigmar, I'm sorry. Showing that I'm a fake Warhammer fan. Oh, no.
Age of Sigma, Skibbity Toilet, the
Age of
expansion.
Sigma. Lightseekers is a really, really cool game. It's one of its big gimmicks was that you'd get digital cards for the like smartphone app version of the game. I think it was also on Switch or something.
It is on
That
PC.
means they got ugly QR codes on them like Alter, doesn't it?
No, it was a bonus card in the pack. All the cards are sweet and nice and normal and don't have a gross QR code on them. You got a special card in each pack with the QR code on it, which you'd scan in the game, and it gave you stuff in the digital game.
There actually is a QR code in the card, but it's not a QR code. Yeah, look at, if you put the cards on the camera, the border has these little black dots on the side. That's the QR code.
Oh,
Yeah, you can scan individual cards. It's super cool.
That's kind of
You see
genius.
it's kind of like e-reader from Pokemon and other Nintendo stuff, but using a camera. Yes, I should have used Eye of Judgment as my example because it's literally just Eye of Judgment. Speaking of, Eye of Judgment is not on our list because it's great. You know, you have to have a PlayStation 3 and a PlayStation 3 camera and all that stuff, and you have to dedicate your living room to play it. But that's another really cool game. But yeah, Lightseekers is an incredible game that uses a really interesting mechanic where all of your cards not only turn, to the side, but they can turn all the way around. It's really neat. It's a really fun game, and some of the products for it are very cheap and affordable.
And isn't the flipping thing like the card's durability, like when it does a full flip, it's like gone?
Yeah, sometimes. And also it can be used to like upgrade the cards over time. It's a really cool mechanic that is not seen in other games except the Warhammer one. And it's one of those things where, like, as a designer, you want to look at games that are really, thinking outside of the box. And that's one of the most unique games I've ever played. So definitely give that one a shot. Generally, like set one stuff is the cheapest, but most products for it are fairly affordable, especially like pre-guns.
I think, yeah, the first set, Awakening, isn't too bad to find. The second and third set, I don't remember what order they're in, but it's Kindred and Mythical. Those are pretty easy to find.
Mhm.
I want to just add on a little bit for the gameplay. It's not really a creature battler. It's almost more like one of the fighting style games where like you have a character card and then you're almost playing attack kind of thing. Sometimes they're creatures, but since they don't last indefinitely, they're more like fleeting type of cards. But yeah, the rotation thing is pretty cool.
And it's cheap. Who's next?
I guess Speed's done one. Jacob's done one. I
Yeah,
guess I'll
go
do
for
one.
You know, actually, let's just keep going. You and me, right on. Let's,
Yeah, you know what? Why even have a special guest? So, since we're talking about unique games, I actually do have a perfect segue for that. It's Zatch Bell.
Wow, that game sucks.
It does.
What?
Yes. Here's the thing. If you are talking unique game, you will never find a more unique game than this. I promise you. If you have not played Zatch Bell, there is no other game on the planet that you have played that is anything like this. This right here is your deck. It is a book. You flip the pages. When you run out of pages, you die. It's kind of like life decking, but you set up the order in which your life goes. And the awful thing about this is that if you take any damage at all, scoop, because your entire chain and battle plan is just foobarred. It's over.
Yeah. It is not a great game gameplay wise, but it is a really fun game. And the thing I love most about it is it took a unique thing from the Zatch Bell IP, the books that were so important to the puppets. What are they called? Menudos?
Yeah, the Momotos.
Momoto. Menudo. I'm hungry.
Noodles?
When I was a kid, I wanted Zatch Bell cards just for the book. I didn't even care about the cards. I just wanted the books because they were the cool thing from the show. And I think that's such a cool design element for a game.
The extra cool thing about this I can say is, so I'll just say a lot of my picks are like, oh, if you're a fan of this IP, pick this up, just like Valkyria Chronicles. I have been able to like one-to-one recreate fights from the show as a child using these Zatch Bell cards. Like, I can't think of another game that ties into its IP better than Zatch Bell. And that's another reason you should give Zatch Bell a shot. And the products that are affordable for Zatch right now are any of the precons. Any of the precon spell books, those are like $20 or less. And set 1 is still at like MSRP. Now, if you want Supreme Power of the Golden Spell, Gathering Storm, or Dawn of the Ancients, die. They are way overpriced and basically unobtainium. And of course, he just has some lying around because why wouldn't he? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, here's Gathering Storm.
Yep, sealed box of Gathering Storm. And by the way, I'm calling Zatch Bell the card battle Dookie Dog Turds as probably one of the #1 Zatch Bell fans and players like still around. If you've looked up, and Tulane's can attest to this, if you look up spellbook profiles on YouTube, you find me.
Yeah, I think I was talking to him one time, and I'm like, oh yeah, this guy made a video about this game, and like I watched it a long time ago, and they said if you take damage, you should scoop, and he's like, did you watched my video? And I'm like, that's you? That's before I knew you.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. So no, I love Zatch, and like the only reason you should play this and buy this is because it is super unique and there's stuff for it. Flavor, uniqueness and flavor. That's it. Otherwise, skip it.
I'll say Zatch Bell is also a great example of a game where if you're just looking to collect the product, your best bets are probably buying lots of loose cards.
Yes.
Which is a great hack if you're willing to put in the work to like do deck construction. If you're
Hashtag
looking to play.
Bandai mid 2000s games. That's how all of them are. They printed like 4 boxes or something, and now it's impossible to get some of them. All right, shall I do one now?
Yeah, I insist it's your turn. Let's do it.
All right, are you ready to go back to the past? Because I got On the Edge, baby. If you know me, I talk about this game all the time. This came out.
You and I are both big fans of On the Edge.
I actually know nothing about this game, so I am like glued. I'm a laser of focus. Tell me about it.
All right, so this game came out in 1994, so it's barely a year after Magic came out. I think because I made a video about it and said it came out in 95, and then figured it came out in 1994, but it was too late to redo the video, so I'm just a liar. On first glance, you look at like cards and like you got creatures with 2 numbers on them, and you have like resource cards, and you're like, this is just a Magic clone. They're cashing in, but that's about where the similarities stop. So the land cards in On the Edge give you 1 resource, but then all of them also give you an additional resource if you play the right type of card. Like this Al Amaharan Friends gives you 1 to play things, but if you play a burger card, it gives you 2. So that's a weird way to do lands that I don't think I've ever seen since then.
My my biggest complaint with On the Edge is, if you can show a card again, the fact that the artwork is so small on the cards, because of the layout of them, which is such a shame because On the Edge has some absolutely wild artwork in it. Some of that art is crazy.
Yeah, and to go back to the gameplay, you got creatures, you got your lands, you have instants, but in this game they're called whammies. They don't cost anything, you just do them when you want to. This Wheel of Fortune, I did not pick for the art, I picked for the effect. This is like the only draw card in the entire game, and it's discard this and 1 other card to draw 2 cards. So it's like still card neutral. There's like no card draw in this game, which is wild. Then after that, you have your equip cards, you have gear that just enhance stats. You have in this game, the tap word is crank. So that's really funny. You crank them, you can you uncrank things at the beginning of your turn.
Yo, I love hitting up the card shop and cranking my cards with the boys.
I'm gonna crank. You gotta crank it, buddy. Oh, this game is beautiful.
On the Edge, tell them. Yeah, there's another whammy. And the way you win in this game, I think they were, 20 years ahead of the curve, is there are some units that also have influence, which is what the resources give you. But resources can only give you influence to pay for units. That's why there's like this asterisk on the card. And to win the game, you need to crank them boys or girls that give you influence, and you accumulate influence to win the game. So there's a couple of games doing that now where the points go up instead of down. It makes multiplayer a lot easier because you're not knocking out other players. You just play the game until somebody reaches the threshold. And yeah, the way you can sort of make the points go down if you kill something that gives influence, like if you killed this card, which I just grabbed this starter deck. I think this Chico Torpal is in every starter deck, I feel like. When she gets taken out, you lose 2 influence. So you don't get like attacked back down to 0, but you are set back a little bit.
What game was I playing that it's like that? They were so ahead of the curve because Trails TCG has that exact same, like, if you kill the guy, you lose points equal to the guy. That's really cool, actually.
I've experimented with, played a lot of the games that were, in that quick, fast response to Magic the Gathering era, your 94 games, 95, 96, and On the Edge really stands out as one of the best of its era.
Yeah, it's pretty legible. That's not the right word. Grokkable, I guess. If you're a nerd, you know what that means. But it was pretty easy to understand. There's not any like, how the heck does this work? Like maybe not a lot. In the 90s, it was the Wild West. There were some games that were really well put together. There were some games that are really less put together. There's some games that are they're put together, but it's really wild, like Guardians. Not a cheap game, not on here. But On the Edge is pretty easy to find. You can still get it from the original publisher, actually. Atlas Games sells these ginormous Mungo booster boxes for $20. So these boxes have 60 packs. 60. They weren't fooling around in the 90s. They give you a lot of cards. That's 600 cards in one box.
And it's just so cool seeing a company like that still in some way, shape, or form supporting their game.
That's great.
To this day,
The game had 4 sets, so there was the standard, I think it's standard version, or just the base set, whatever. It's kind of funny that the yellow just is going off the side into the back. There's the cut ups, shadows, and arcana, and then they got canned. Or they had, they just weren't selling, I guess. It is just a weird out there game. This is probably one of the only card games where I've like sat down and started to read the lore to figure out what's going on. Like earlier, I was talking about this resource card that gives you +1 influence for burgers. Like, what the heck is a burger? Is it, it's the food? No, it's not the food. It's like their word for noob. This game takes place on this island. And if you're a noob on the island, you're a burger.
I
So all the
see.
burger cards have like these weird things where there's a lot of whammies that deal with like giving units bonuses, but if they're a burger, they get more bonus. Or like some that you can only use on a burger. So like you attack a 1/1 little nothing guy, and you're like, yeah, this burger actually has good luck, and he has like a million attack and defense now, and actually you die. This game also has a weird grid system. So grid card games are sort of prevalent now, but the grid game in this game was weird because it wasn't like this preset grid where you have spaces and you move guys around on them. The grid in On the Edge is like dynamically created by you as the player. So if I play a guy right here, I can play my second guy above him to be in front of him or behind him to be below him. And you can do that up until you have three different rows, which I think was
Gotcha.
called files, because there was like rank and file. Yeah, I think rank. No, maybe it's ranks. Yeah, ranks and files, something like that.
Yeah.
And but your third guy could still go on top or the bottom. There's not 3 rows until there's 3 rows. So it's a weird version of a grid, but it's kind of cool. I haven't seen too many other games that do it like that. And
Closest thing I can think of is like Ultraman, where each battle lane is created
right.
dynamically. But that's like, yeah, that's like the closest thing I can think of. This is sick, genuine.
And if you the way that the rows go into the gameplay is that guys can't attack through other guys. If they're cranked, you can bypass them. But if they're uncranked, you gotta crank them so you can get past them. And the combat system is completely different than Magic 2. It still has 2 numbers, but you can only declare 1 attack per turn. So you can crank a guy, attack something, and that's it. You only get 1 attack. So you got to try to figure out how to get the most out of your 1 attack. And yeah, so On the Edge is a pretty cool game.
Well,
Go
I have a
check it out.
question. I have a question. One last question. If you only get 1 attack, oh, the rest of your crankage is for making influence.
Yeah, influence
Figured it
or
out.
using abilities. There's some that do that.
Gotcha. No,
I
figured it
think
out.
this
That's
this
cool.
whammy sneak gives something surprise, and I think surprise lets you bypass 1 unit.
So for our next game, I apologize. I don't have any to show. All mine's in storage. So please, for the visual, enjoy this very aesthetic coaster instead. This coaster represents the Transformers trading card game. Ooh,
Oh, there it is.
there it
You
is.
found some.
We
There you
found
go.
it.
Thank you, Mr.
Awesome.
Lainz.
This is not one that you can get for cheap, though. This is the final set. Sorry.
The Transformers card game, I feel, was pretty overlooked when it was out and current. I don't know how well it sold. My personal experience with it is like I played it a little bit when it first came out and then didn't really follow it because I was, distracted by all the other games going on at that same time. Because you figure this was like, what, 2018, 2019?
Yeah.
And that was a big time for trading card games. It just wasn't one that I was that into, which is a shame because it's actually pretty fun. But then my next experience was every time I'd go to a local game store, seeing it in their clearance, please, for the love of God, take this section.
Yeah, I think that's the primary way you can get that game for cheap now is like in stores. They'll just have some and be like, I don't know, just take it or something. Because if you look online, I think there's like one set that's like $30 or $40 a box, but they kind of have gone up and down. When the game first got canceled, RIP game killed by COVID. Many of those did get killed like that. Sentence, English words, good. And yeah, that one was one of those. And I feel like the people that liked it were like, oh man, it was just getting interesting too.
Yeah, and the other thing that's really, really affordable for this game are most of these starter decks. Some of the like 2-player kits are as little as like $15, and some of the single player decks you can get for under 10 shipped. It's really awesome.
But
So,
Jacob, why should they buy it? Why is it a cool game?
well, first of all, folding cards.
Sure. I so here's why I liked the Transformers card game. I thought the whole because we talked about this earlier with Force of Will, but I like cards that flip, and you will not find a game with more cards that flip than Transformers. Like they go crazy, and I thought that that was like a really fun mechanic. I remember playing Transformers. I remember being like, this game is fun, flat out. But it was still at the time where I was a very competitive gamer, and I spent a lot of my effort playing Card Fight Vanguard, Buddy Fight, Dragon Ball Super, and Caster Chronicles competitively. So I just didn't really have room for Transformers. So I think that if you're looking for a game that has the most like this kind of feels like playing with action figures, Transformers is a great pick for you.
Yeah, it's actually a very like combat heavy game. The boards don't tend to stay the same for very long. There's a lot of bots getting destroyed, just like the wonderful 1985 Transformers movie. There's lots of bots getting murdered. Uh,
That is that's
Thank you
exactly
for
what
the
they sound like.
demonstration. And there's a lot of really good fan service in the game. Now, I will say some of these like special stuff for collectors tends to get very expensive. Particularly, they had a deck that was what it was. It was Soundwave versus. Oh, that's embarrassing.
Aster.
Blaster. Oh, I need to hand in my Transformers fan club card. Soundwave versus Blaster. And it was released as a standard deck, and then later on they re-released it with all Gen 1 Transformers art and aesthetics, whereas like most of the other stuff is like very Cybertron Wars in its aesthetics. It's a lot more to the modern comic book style, or even like the seventh generation video games. Whereas they did the Gen 1 Transformers boxy designs with their bright colors for that one deck only, and it's pretty expensive. But you can still get the same playable cards from the admittedly less exciting looking version of the deck.
Yeah, this is another one of those almost fighting style games, but this one is interesting because all of your units are these giant cards, and you start the game with them all, and you have like a point total, and your team of Transformers is made with a point total, more like a tabletop war game than a TCG. And then so you have all your guys, you flip them and attack with them, and then your cards in your deck are like equipment for them. I think the only thing I got in this little box is dudes. Oh no. You play equipment and you spell one and done type cards, but they also use these in the combat where there's these pips in the upper left corner, and when you attack, you flip cards off the top of your deck equal to some stat on the transformer. I don't remember which one it is.
It's the is it the blue one? No, it's not the blue one. Which one is
No,
it?
that's defense. Maybe it's just one, and then there's stuff that gives you more than
I think
one.
stuff that augments it, as I recall.
But as you flip cards, and the certain symbols give you more things, and you flip on attack or defense. If you're being attacked, you get some flips to see if you get more defense, which I think is what blue does.
I'll say you said it was kind of like a war game, and I really agree with that in a way where like it's not a war game in the thought of like board positioning strategy, which is something I know a lot of TCGs have done over the years, and it's something I personally don't vibe with all that much. Whereas this feels like a war game without just being a war game. You know,
I completely agree, and I think another game that we can easily compare Transformers to is actually Chaotic. Because in Chaotic, you have all your creatures out at the beginning. They move around between a couple different areas on the board. Just like your Transformers will flip between like robot mode, vehicle mode, and have the two spots for that. And then your deck is all just like ways to buff your dudes that you already have out on the board. Yeah, the combiner cards are so cool, man.
They
Yeah, this
are
is
fun.
very cool.
this is my favorite guy because I grew up when Armada was a
I love
popular.
Armada,
So yeah, this
bro.
is Tidal Wave. He's three different vehicles that turn into one robot.
He's just fun. Like, that's the thing. It's just fun. It's like playing with action figures. You should try it.
Yeah, it's cool. And even if you don't end up vibing with the gameplay, which I think you actually will if you give the game a shot, you've still got some really cool collectibles like that.
Also, this is a game that they have like a 2-pack mode where you break 2 packs, you get one giant card that's got a robot in it, and you just play with the 2 packs. So I always like a good like sealed minimal amount of cards needed to play the game. So I don't know if it's the most, in-depth way to play it, but just the what did I get? I'm not even gonna look. I'm just gonna shuffle my deck and start playing the game. And whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, and set one packs are very, very cheap and easy to find online. So definitely go buy some Transformers. Give it a shot.
Insecticons.
Two Lanes, I genuinely don't remember what else did you have to bring to show and tell today.
All right, hold on. Let me put all my Transformers toys away. I had to go. There's just a desk over here that's got a bunch of empty or I guess they're not empty. They have a bunch of ETB Pokemon boxes, but they're just filled with other stuff. So I was like, oh, this is the MetaZoo one.
Mom
Oh,
says you got to pick up your toys or you can't have more podcasts.
all right. The next game I have is also a game that got killed by COVID. I'm going to talk about Gate Ruler. You're like, what the heck is that? Gate Ruler is a Japanese card game made by, I think, the guy that made Buddy Fight, and it came out in 2020. So it came out during COVID and basically just got overshadowed by every other card game that came out around that time. I'm pretty sure like WeCross probably did better than. Well, then maybe that came out later. Digimon definitely stole the spotlight from this though, because that
Yeah,
did come out.
Digimon just clocked Gate Ruler, dude. It was a bloodbath.
Gate Ruler is a creature battler card game where there's 3 different numbers. It's almost like Card Fight Vanguard, but you don't have the drive check. So you play guys and they don't have summoning sickness, so it's like a real like wet noodle fight where you're like, I'm gonna summon a bunch of guys and then make them walk into their death, and then the other person's like, I'm gonna play a bunch of guys and kill all your guys, and then it's one of those games where you're slapping a bunch of cards down, and it just died after I think they released 6 sets in English. The final set is the final 3 sets are kind of expensive, but the first 3 sets are really cheap. I think you can get a case for like $120, so it's like $20 a box.
Yeah, boxes are cheap. And personally, I'm not the biggest fan of the gameplay of Gate Ruler, but I do really like the artwork. So if you're looking for a game just to crack packs of and like get some pretty artwork, some shiny cards, great game for that.
The shiny cards, I don't. This is just like a regular. I think this might be a super rare. Hold on, I need to squint to see what it says. It's got some text so small. No, this is just a rare. The foils look good. I mean, the cards look good. Just there's some elements in the game where you're like, like the deck building in this one's really weird, just off the wall. You get a leader card that's sort of like a silhouette of what you are, and the fantasy, I guess, is that the leader really changes how the game plays. Like this one, the apprentice, his rules say that there's no resources, but on your turn you just draw 2 cards and you play them immediately. So that's it. That's what you do. You get everything for free, but you're just hoping for big expensive dudes like this the robot I showed earlier. He would normally cost 3 resources, which in normal, I guess I don't know if it is normal since the game changes based on the leaders, but the other starter deck leader gives you 3 resources a turn. So this is a whole turn play guy, but if you're playing the apprentice and you just happen to flip 2 of them, you're just like, okay, I got 2 huge guys. Good luck with that. It's got
Love Gamba.
Yu-Gi-Oh trap cards, so you can put face downs with your 2 cards. It's one of those games where maybe the mechanics aren't super unique, but there's little bitty twists on what you'd expect to be. So that I thought it was worth including, especially when the first couple sets are so cheapo.
I think another thing that hurt Gate Ruler's chances of success was it came out and was being teased at a time where Buddy Fight was at an all-time low and soon to be canceled. I think it was canceled in between Gate Ruler's announcement and end, and I think it unfortunately got a lot of comparison to Buddy Fight. A lot of people were like, "Oh yes, please, the creator of Buddy Fight's coming back and giving us Buddy Fight 2," and it very much was not Buddy Fight 2. Despite some of the artwork being very, very similar in style, they're very different games.
Yeah, it kind of has a little bit of the, Buddy Fight, as far as I know you both have played way more Buddy Fight than me, where that game is another game where you do like to throw out a lot of guys and, do that thing, but it doesn't have the weird leaders with the rules. With the rules, that game didn't have the rules. There's more weirdness with the leaders in this game. Is like there's a limit to how many of certain types of cards you can use with what ruler. It's like so many weird rules that they didn't even put it on the card. You had to like go to the website to figure out what the deck building rules for a guy were.
I was in the Gate Ruler community from day one, like the like Facebook group for it or whatever, and there were a lot of posts about just being completely confused as to how the game works for months upon months, and I don't think they ever really ended.
Yeah, but like I said, the first 3 sets are pretty cheap. I think the second one is the first one that got cheap. The second one is the first thing seventh. The second set got cheap because apparently it was just like a bad set or something, made a bad meta, or maybe it was an underpowered set. But so maybe set 1, set 3. I mean, $20 a box, you can't really go too wrong.
Yeah, and I mean the worst experience you're gonna have with Gate Ruler is, oh no, my cards are beautiful and printed gorgeously. Oh, what a travesty for $20.
I got that textured card back. That's like, ooh, baby.
From a game designer perspective, I recommend giving Gate Ruler a shot because the core mechanics of just the main deck, pretty straightforward stuff. But the leader cards are jank city. Shit gets wild.
I like jank in my card games. I do think Gate Ruler's a little overcomplicated for what it could have been. But I love the jank, and it feels very experimental.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like simultaneously to me a game that's really easy to pick up, but then there's just like the parts that aren't. Like 90% you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense, and then the other 10% you're like, what was bro cooking?
Yes, that's Gate Ruler. That's it. You nailed it. No notes.
Good luck. Set 4, 5, and 6 are an anomaly though, because they almost don't exist on the internet. Like set 4 and 5, I had to get locally. I have a store like an hour away that just gets random card games, and I saw that they had set 4 and 5, and I'm like, how much of that do you have? And they're like, I don't know, like 8 boxes of this one and 9 boxes of that one. I'm like, I'll take the lot. And they're like, do you have a group to play this with? And I'm like, no,
I'm a hoarder
for myself. I want it all. I want all of the cards.
Yeah, and then wasn't Gate Ruler's final product like did they just shove the cards in a box thing?
Yep, they basically ECG'd it where they just gave you half a play set of all the cards, so you technically needed 2 of the boxes to get all of them, but
that's the worst. That's like, if you're gonna do it, just give me a full play set, bro. Okay, fine.
I think that's how it was. Either that or they gave you like half foil or something. Maybe it was 1 foil and so it was something like that. It was 1 foil and 3 normals. I know you had to get 2 to get the set though, so maybe not.
Well, I want to talk about my final game because we're going from Gate Ruler, which is like insane, crazy, whack crap going everywhere, to one of the most milquetoast games you can play. But I still recommend it. It is Arc System. And I recommend Arc System just because of what a fun little slice of history this is. So this is from Wizards of the Coast, and it is one of the first like crossover TCGs. They had a indie sci-fi comic that nobody ever read. Then they had
C18, right?
C23.
C23.
Sure. Oh. Who gives a shit? But the important ones are
Hold on. We're fighting.
No, it's definitely C23.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna get shown up in my own show and tell bit. I see how it is.
Now I want to grab my Hercules cards so that we can each be holding one of the
holding
3
an
games.
Arc System.
Yeah, but they're not here right now. So
because they were
Look, I'm
I got up without a
editing
good
in
intro.
my Hercules cards. Look at that! Wow.
All right, so I've got C23, and then just pretend there's Hercules cards on Jacob's screen.
They're right
Uh,
here. Look at
what's-
that! Wow.
What I like about this game is that this is in some ways kind of like Wizards' own like, hey guys, don't worry, we fixed Magic attempt. Sort of like how Duel Masters was, what if Magic was like easier to get into for a younger audience? That's how Arc system genuinely feels. And you can see that they've got the Arc card back, but then it's still Xena styled. So you have lands, resource cards, just like you do in Magic, and then you have creatures. Now, what's cool about the creatures is that they have a cost, and then they only have one stat. It's just power. It's like a Bandai game where you just have power, and then this guy has the blocker keyword. Even, ooh, wow, one of an early instance of that. And what's funny about this is you don't have life points. They went for a life decking system. So when you take damage, you just discard cards from your deck. I know that ruffles some people's feathers. For me, I don't care. I liked it. I've actually played a lot of this game with my sister, and it is genuinely a blast. And the product for this isn't like cheap, but it is overall still very affordable. So if you're a boomer and you really like, all of my games are IP games, guys. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. But if you really like Xena and Hercules: Legendary Journeys, you just can't go wrong with this. No one fucking cares about
This is the one where the art actually looks good though, because it's from a comic and it's not screenshots of a TV
That's
show
fair.
from the 90s.
It's funny because for my experience with the Arc system is I had bought a bunch of Hercules cards at a dollar store in like random TCG packs that were repacked, and I had tons of Hercules cards. And then like years later, I found out that it wasn't just like Hercules the card game. It's like, oh, I could have been playing with these other games at the same time. It was a crossover this whole time. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What's really funny is the same time that happened to me, I also had my mind blown a second time when I found out that Quick Strike was a thing, and the Shaman King cards were also Pirates of the Caribbean cards,
which were also Avatar: The Last Airbender cards. That's the big one from Quick Strike. You know what? Quick shout out to Quick Strike. Last time I checked, that was actually still pretty affordable too. Quick Strike did a cool thing where they had like cards with a pull tab that would track your points. So yeah, actually Quick Strike's another one you should look at, the quick honorable mention. Yeah, okay, the artwork in C23 does look better than my grainy Weiss Schwarz ass screenshots. You got me.
That's me when you say that the other ones are the good ones.
But hey, look, here's my favorite Hercules card.
Shut up, Jacob.
Wow, you better put that in. If you don't edit that in,
It would be really funny though if
All
I
right,
didn't.
make it really grainy though.
But we got Bathhouse. All right. C23.
That's true.
Bathhouse.
No bathhouse in C23, I don't think. Just weird laboratories and messed up world.
My camera won't focus. That's a shame. So
this was Wizards' attempt to like make Magic easy. So yeah, they have the life decking. They have the one number. There's instants, but you can like only play them during combat, and you can only play one of them. They're called combat cards.
Yep.
Oh, this game also has one of the funniest like don't like ignore the normal timing restrictions. I think it said something, the cards say something like, do not play this card at the normal time. Instead, play when one of your characters is discarded and draw 2 cards or something like that.
Yes, they do.
I think we can all agree about one thing. As far as really, really early crossover TCGs, it's better than Anime Hem.
Oh, it's way better than Anime Hem. Like, and that's the thing, like, if you're a new designer wanting to get a snapshot taste of TCG history, that's why I'm recommending scooping up some Arc system, because it shows you the precursor to a lot of ideas that a lot of other games have done over time, of having one stat instead of 2, doing life decking, only playing instants during combat. I mean, think about how many games today only have instants during combat. I mean, there's Cardfight Vanguard with its guarding system, Dragon Ball Super.
My third game might also only have instance during the combat.
Is that a segue?
We're still kind of in the middle of talking about C23, but...
No, we're not.
Oh, we're not? Okay.
No, your turn.
Okay, yeah, my final game is Battle Spirit Saga, baby. You know it's big because Avril Lavigne took a picture next to some boxes.
Yeah, and she also did a One Piece theme. What of it?
Yes, she did.
Yeah, she did the end credits.
Nickelback? Anyway.
Yes, she did. No, we can't go over that and brush through it. Yes, Avril Lavigne was in One Piece Film Z, as the end credits theme singing Nickelback. And I will never let this go.
Couldn't make it as a pirate. Couldn't cut it as a Navy sales slur.
I expect the full cover from you on my desk by Friday.
Oh no. Yeah. Woo!
So anyway, tell me about Battle Spirit Saga.
So Battle Spirit Saga, oh no, I didn't go get my cores. Battle Spirit Saga is a creature battler. It's not too weird mechanics wise, except the resources in this game are these little core things that they're like little physical plastic pieces that you get more of every turn, and eventually it's just really difficult to keep track of them all. But the way you use them is you don't just like pay them to like a used zone and they come back every turn. That's part of it, but they also need to go on your unit cards and they level up based on how many cores are on them. So this little Oviraptidon, when it has 1 core on it, it's level 1 and has 1,000 power. When it's got 2 cores on it, it's level 2 and has 3,000 power, and so on. And some cards only have effects when they're a certain level. And if I was good at my job, I'd probably figure out one of them that was like that. This is my deck from the first set where all of us were playing jank. We all had 1 box maybe, because when the game first came out, I think my LGS got like 1 case. So the like 6 people that were interested in it basically all got 1 box. Probably one of the most wholesome tournaments I've ever played in, because nobody had the good cards. We're all playing 1 box jank. It was great. Loved it. Now you could play your own 1 box jank for like $30 for both players, because the boxes are like $15 for the first 3 sets.
I know some LGSs that will literally give you Battle Spirits for free with any other purchase.
Dude, I need to go get some sets after 3 because I don't have any at night. I must have them all. This guy here, he only gets his ability when he's level 3, so you got to put a bunch of cores on him to make sure you're playing him to full effect. Other than that, yeah, the instance in this game, you can only play during the battle step. So you declare an attack with 1 guy. It's almost like Magic, but not. You only attack their face, and then after you declare an attack, both players, you get like a cycle of playing instance. Then your opponent can block with something that's untapped, and you have another cycle of playing instance, and then combat resolves. So there's a really limited window. So when you're doing your main phase, you can just like do whatever plays you want because your opponent can't really do anything about it, unless they made some of the trap cards. Hold on, I gotta find one. They made some of the trap cards into cards that you can play on your opponent's main phase. Let's see. This one says when your opponent resolves a spirit's wind summoned effect. So yeah, there's 1 spot in this game where you can put a card face down, and you can activate it when its condition is met.
So you have to like bank 1 specific trap, and you only get 1.
You only get 1, and I don't think you can replace it if you put it down. I can't quite remember, but I feel like one time I put this down, and then I needed my other one, and I'm like, I can't do anything about this. This sucks. It's a Bandai game.
Actually, I like that.
So the alt arts and stuff look really good. I'll probably take this out.
Well, it's Bandai printing, so it's good.
Yeah, Bandai printing.
Yeah.
It looks good. It plays decent. The cores are like the most unique thing about the game, and I think they are worth messing around with a little bit. The cores are also your life. You get 5 cores as life points, and when you get hurt, one of the life cores goes into your resource pool. So there's a lot of shield games where, you know, you break shields and like there might be a shield trigger that happens, or the shield goes into your hand to give that person extra resources. But this game literally is giving you one extra resource whenever you get hit. The other main thing I want to go over is earlier I was pointing at this little dot on the card, and there's this weird mechanic where cards cost less the more of them you have on the board. So in the bottom corner of a card, it has a gem, and that counts as a cost reduction for other cards. So if I have this Dragon Trooper on the board, this guy costs one, but he also has one reduction. So he's just free. You could, if you have Dragon Trooper, you just slap this boy down, and you know you got another guy. It will cost you one, however, because you need to have at least one core on a guy. If you got no cores on a guy, they're just dead.
Yeah.
Probably the most scuffed explanation of this game, but it has some interesting mechanics that I don't see in other games, despite being a I'm gonna attack you until you have zero
Well,
life
I
game.
think your explanation was actually really good because this is my Battle Spirit Saga story. Okay, so I own an LGS, and we tried Battle Spirit Saga. We got a whole welcome kit with a big playmat and everything. We really went all out, and we got our demo kits out. And I was trying to play this with a buddy, and we were reading the rules, and we saw to figure out how to calculate the cost for any card every time you played a card. There was literally an algebra equation, and we were just like, I'll just die, actually. I'm good. I'll I'm okay. I don't want to
Yeah,
do algebra.
the cores are really cool, but at the same time, you're like, all right, so this guy costs 7, but he's got 3 cost reduction. Do I have 3 things on the field? No, I only have 2 things on the field, so this guy costs 5. The reason that this game is so cheap is because it was I don't know I was going into that like I had a really specific reason, and then I was just like, wait, I don't know what the next part of this explanation is. Uh, it doesn't have an IP, unlike Bandai's other games, and I guess that did part of them in. Uh, this game is actually from like 2008. It was just Battle Spirits. They brought it to English, and it died in like 4 or 5 sets, and then they brought it back as Battle Spirit Saga in I think 2023, 4,
2022.
2. Okay, and it died in almost the same amount of time. I think it lasted a little bit longer.
I think the big downside to getting into Battle Spirit Saga is it is a pretty complicated game. It is a little more intense than some other games to get started with. But there's also a really big advantage to getting into it, which is it is still relatively new. It is still relatively fresh. And there are plenty of people out there who would still want to play it with you. You know, there's an active fan base for this game still that has not decayed due to the passages of time.
That does lead me to a good point that I think was in my brain earlier when I was trying to say some other things. It is extremely easy to play this game wrong and get absolutely smoked in like 2 turns. Where if you just like swing cards and don't leave defenders up, you giving your opponent resources will let them play a card, which will make their next card cheaper, which might make their next card cheaper. So you could just get like one shot on the clapback, and you're just like, I don't understand this game. It's not like attacking is like not something you do very often in this game. It's like when you're sure, like, all right, I'm gonna attack here, and I'll have 3 guys left up in case he plays a spell and like, you know, taps one, then I still have 2 more defenders. It's not like a decision you make lightly. You make likely? I mean, I guess not because it's dead and nobody was playing it, so it's not likely. But uh, it's just, you know, it's harder, I think, to play other games just as wrong as this one, if that makes any sense.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
But the skill ceiling is so high. Like, if you're someone who is super competitive in games or really looking to master something and then be the person dunking on other people, perfect game for you.
Yes, unfortunately, kind of negated by the fact that they had so many tier 0 kind of formats.
Yes.
They came out with the first set, which was really balanced. There's like people were doing tournaments in the first set, and other than a few staple cards that almost everyone had, that alt art that I was showing off earlier is kind of one of those, and this is definitely one of them. They came out with their first tournament pack that had a card that was like, it turned the balance meta into a one deck meta because it was a card that was just like, this can't be destroyed by battle, and also it can't be affected by 2 of the 4 colors card effects. And you're just like, huh? What now? And then they came out with set 2, which introduced a new color to the game, green. So now there's 5 colors. Absolutely useless. Green sucked, was terrible, like F tier as far as I'm aware. I didn't really play a lot past set 1, but I was excited for green because they got bugs. I like my bug archetypes, and it just wasn't good. And also set 2 had more vanilla cards than set 1 did.
Why?
I don't know. They fumbled
Okay.
the bag so hard here. They tried to give some like Gundam alt arts for cards, which is funny now that we just have the Gundam card game. And this did not save this. It went down so fast. Set 3 introduced blue, so now there's 6 colors. That was the final color. Can you guess how playable blue was in set 3?
Complete dookie butt.
Yep. Same thing with set 2. They introduced a new color, dog water. Playable. I was like, what? If anything, it should be the other way around. You should introduce a color and be like, this is the best thing that you can play. We'll figure it out later, but you want the new stuff because it's good.
Yeah. That would kill any TCG. It's so hard. Like, when you're making a TCG, if you have back-to-back bad sets, I'm gonna be honest, it's kind of Jover. Like, it's tough to recover.
Unless you're Force of Will, I guess. Oh gosh.
Then if you're Force of Will, you can just keep zombieing along. Just
maybe it wasn't
forever.
back-to-back bad sets. I don't know what came out before or after Millennia of Ages.
Well, I mean, when you have one set that's that bad, arguably the biggest failure of a set in TCG history, it's pretty hard to come back from that. The fact that Force of Will didn't die is a miracle.
Oh, Gundam card game. Yeah, that one right there. Not the new one.
That's the one we're talking about. Yeah. That's what we were talking about. But
Man,
I also remember in Battle Spirits, they had like really sick Neon Genesis Evangelion crossover art.
They had a whole set.
It was dope.
Apparently,
I loved the artwork.
all of the wording in that set is like nonsense. There's at least from what I know, I've never seen the cards. My one friend I know that was really into Battle Spirits is like, half of this set, the card text contradicts rules, and like we could barely figure it out. So another thing, we're like, cool, Eva set, that's great. Oh wait, what is happening with card? I don't know. So it lasted 6 sets and died, and the extra set with the Eva.
But it's cheap, and that's what matters to get on this list.
Go get you some set 1, I think would be fine. Starter decks are really cheap. I'll actually give a link. There's a store that I think they have 5 starter decks for like $20 or something. So you just get a smorgasbord of them.
And this is definitely a one of those games where you've got a very good chance of checking your local game store and finding some that they desperately want to get rid of. More than probably anything else on this list.
That's my final game. Do we have any games left? Has everyone done?
I have a final game.
Ooh.
I have one final game, and again, I don't have visuals, so write on if you would.
Oh yes, that is my job.
Yeah, come on, man. Come on.
It's not spoilers, actually. It's not spoils. It's
Yeah, I'm talking about spoils.
It's Kaijudo.
You mean
Kaijudo?
Yeah.
Kaijudo, Rise of the Duel Masters, man. Let's talk about it. So Kaijudo, on its own, is okay. But if you're someone who's a game designer out there or just a fan of TCGs, a TCG nerd like us, and you've never gotten the chance to really play Duel Masters, it is imperative that you play Duel Masters in some shape or form. And if you want to play physically, Kaijudo is by far in English the cheapest way to do so, because English Duel Masters cards are baby expensive.
Good luck. Yeah.
Expensive. And unfortunately, the easiest way to play is Duel Masters Plays, which they're just, man, they're never going to give us an official English version. Nope. Never going to happen. Nope. I've been waiting for years. Never going to happen. I really hate that we don't have that. Now there is a way to do it, but you have to do some patching and stuff to get it
Out
in
of
English.
all the card game reboots that we've got in the past, like 1 to 2 years, what, maybe 3 years, where's Duel Master? Who even
Right?
runs Duel Masters in Japan? Is it still Wizards?
It is still a joint venture between Wizards and Takara Tomy.
Oh, Takara Tomy. Well, I just watched a video on a recently dead card game, WeCross, so that makes it seem like they didn't do a great job with that in English. So
Like, I am dead serious when I say if they ever try to bring Duel Masters back, like Duel Masters back to the States for the third time, they will just fumble the bag again. Because the duo of Wizards and Takara Tomy guarantees they will screw it up. It's just there's no two ways about it. Their track record in doing not Magic the Gathering is genuinely awful.
yeah, Wizards is gonna look at it and be like, this card game is doing okay, maybe, but its name isn't Magic the Gathering. So we gotta we
Guys,
gotta we gotta kill it.
guys, Duel Master Secret Lair.
Oh yeah. Duel Masters Universes Beyond. Come on, that would be
There we go. Yeah,
come
They
on.
did
absolutely.
they did Magic cards as Duel Master cards, so why not do Duel Masters cards as Magic cards?
Yes.
Look at that
No, no, no,
2012
no, no.
lead.
It's all just the Magic cards that cross over into Duel Masters, but recrossed over into Magic.
Is I think that probably violates the reserve list or something. Because
Yeah,
then
I mean, you could avoid the Black Lotus. You could just print, Sarah Angel, Jace the Mind Sculptor,
Birds
et
of
cetera.
Paradise,
Actually,
is
I
that a
think
reserve list card?
Yeah, Birds of Paradise.
Birds
So-
of Paradise is not reserve list.
So so I was joking. Somebody had Birds of Paradise in their commander deck at my store the other day, and I was just like, "Oh, that's a cool Duel Masters card."
What? I'm not playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
They were so confused. And I was like, "Got it. I'm old. Thanks."
So why is it so important that people who want to understand trading card games play some version of Duel Masters, with Kaijudo being the most accessible and physical? Well, it's because it's maybe the primary game that has influenced everything that came after. So many games that have come out since are just, we are Duel Masters, but with X. Even
Mhm.
more arguably than we are Magic the Gathering, but X kind of games. I mean, right on, your favorite game of all time is 99% Duel Masters, right? Caster
Um,
Chronicles?
Caster Chronicles is literally just Duel Masters. Like the changes that Caster Chronicles did to the Duel Masters formula are so minute they aren't even worth mentioning. It's just Duel Masters.
Didn't they add
Uh,
like defense mode?
the what?
Didn't they add
Defense.
defense mode?
Yeah, they have Yu-Gi-Oh! Defense mode, but like fundamentally, what does that change? Yeah, where they flip them upside down. But fundamentally, what does that change about Duel Masters? Not much.
No,
Like-
I'm just grasping for something that's different.
Well, and your example, Two Lanes, that you held up is a great example because every modern Bandai game is just Duel
It's
Masters,
just Duel
but
Masters. But they changed the resource system. I mean, yeah, this is Duel Masters Combat. This is Duel Masters Life System. It's just you make a stack of cards now.
Yeah.
And
Look at
you got
Dragon
the
Ball
memory.
Super. Dragon Ball Super is literally just Duel Masters, but with a Vanguard style blocking system.
One
One
Piece
Piece is
same
just
thing.
Duel. Yeah, One Piece is just Duel Masters, but with Force of Will's land deck. Woohoo!
Duel Masters is such an important game for understanding and contextualizing all of TCG. As much as Magic is like, if you don't understand Magic in the slightest, it's a lot harder to communicate with other people who like trading card games.
Mhm.
Duel Masters is the same. It is a game that everyone should experience. And personally, I love Duel Masters. Back in the day, early 2000s, I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I was playing, not Magic, that would come later for me. I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I was playing
Who played
Pokemon, I was
that
playing
game?
Duel Masters, and every other little game under the sun that I could find. Duel Masters was my favorite. And it's only, with time that it really garnered in the West the cult status that it has today. It was kind of It was, if Pokemon and Digimon are the big things, Duel Masters was the Monster Rancher, right?
Pulling out the references there. Well, if they didn't know Duel Masters, they're probably not going to understand a Monster Rancher reference either.
Uh,
All the diehard Monster Rancher fans are gonna come at you with pitchforks now. There are dozens of us.
yeah, I'm laughing because I am a Monster Rancher fan.
Now, admittedly, Kaijudo is not as cheap as it once was. Back, 4 or 5 years ago, you could, buy pallets of the stuff for pennies on the dollar. My first time really getting into Kaijudo was after it had already died. And one of the local game stores I would go to was, in the please God, we will sell you any sealed product you want for $1 phase. It was that bad. They could not get rid of it. That was probably like 4 or 5 years after it had died. And things are a little more expensive now, but there's still so many deals for it, particularly on set one stuff, which is a great starting point because it's very, very vanilla early Duel Masters style. And especially on constructed decks. Starter decks are a dime a dozen still to this day for Kaijudo, and they come with some really fancy, shiny cards like the ones that Rhydon was showing off.
Yeah, I used to play this game competitively, actually. So those were my tournament cards. That's a great example. Yeah.
I
I
love
think
the
this is
packaging.
this is a deck, and it's like this is a tournament winning deck or something where I don't know, but all the cards are gold bordered. Woo! It's the only Kaijudo thing I had in
It's pretty dope.
reachable distance. Throw that on the pile of stuff that I've been grabbing this whole time.
One downside to Kaijudo, just a fair warning if you're going to get into it, is the card stock is not very good. In fact, I would argue it's quite bad.
Out of every game we have talked about today, this is easily the lowest print quality, and it's not even close.
Yeah. I wonder how it would win in a fight from a game that's like 20 years older than it.
Kaijudo would
25.
lose. Kaijudo is one of the worst printed card games I've ever felt in my life. Like,
About to say my other two were Bandai and this one, and both of these are great card stock.
it's a true Force of Will story. Back when the game came out, I was hanging out with the guy that ran the game store, and he was just like, "Hey, Rhydon, come over here, check this out." Takes a Force of Will card, taps it on the counter, and then there's a like black powder left on the counter from the paint just flecking off. Just go tap tap.
Nice. Sounds
Classic.
like the Retro Pack 2 reprint that Konami did recently.
Mm-hmm.
No, that has like dust or something on them. I've been watching Team APS, a big Yu-Gi-Oh channels, doing a retro rival like little sealed series, and the cards are some of them just have like it almost looks like dust that's like printed on the card. It's like what's happening here?
Dude, shout out to Team APS. Those guys are
That,
a
that that's
blast.
how this happened. It's all their fault.
Yeah. No,
Team, I'm Team APS or Team whatever. I don't have the right words.
yeah, no, I'm a big fan of them too. Larry in the Hole is
Yeah.
so funny to watch. They're great. They're great. Well, let's wrap this up with a couple honorable mentions. Mr. Lainz, I know that you have brought many more things to show and tell today.
I have a stack for the honorable mentions. Let's go through them really fast. All right.
Lightning round.
Spoils is a game that came out in like the mid to late 2000s. It was an iFix Magic. They changed the lands to be any card as resource, but like halfway there were still the regular resources, but you could play any card face down if you didn't draw the resources. And also the resources acted as a threshold instead of pay 2 blue and a neutral to play the card. It's just if you had 2 blue, you just pay 3 to play the card. They changed the way combat works to where you can attack with creatures individually, but you can also still attack them like Magic where you attack all at once. They added a speed stat that's like first strike, but if it was a modular thing on cards, so 3 numbers. It's a really cheap game. If you go to the Dead CCG Facebook group, there's a guy named Daniel Solet. It starts with S. His last name, sorry. He'll sell you spoils real cheap. I think these little second edition boxes are $12 or something, and that's about how expensive they are. Where it's like 10 packs for $12. So that's a really cheap one that has some dated humor with some. There's one faction that just has like all their cards are elite hacker speak, elite speak. So that's an interesting blast into the past. But spoils, you could play that one. You guys have anything to say about that one, or I'll just
No,
keep
I
going through
literally
all of
know
them.
nothing about spoils, actually. This is all new to me.
So you're being spoiled for spoils. There's actually not that many sets too, so if you wanted to collect spoils, I don't think it would be that hard to get most of the cards.
It's cool.
Second one, boom, the original MetaZoo. Oh baby.
Yeah.
It kind of started, or I don't know if it started, but it was one of the major players in our card stonk era that we had COVID times where it came out. And I think the original Kickstarter boxes went to like $10,000 a box at their highest point. And then the game like exploded because it was run by strange people that were probably siphoning off money from it or something. They were pre-ordering cards that are pre-ordering products that they never fulfilled. It was just a big mess. And the game is also kind of a mess. It's like Magic, but if it was an unset, but not as fun as that.
Yeah.
Yes. No,
Now-
so I've played MetaZoo, and it plays exactly like what if Unset sucked? That's MetaZoo.
What if Hearthstone did bath salts?
Now, it is on the list, though, because it is by far the cheapest game
It is cheap.
you can buy.
There was a Whatnot seller that was like auctioning off this old stuff, and people are getting cases for $30, $40. I don't know. You can still find it that cheap, or maybe not that cheap, but you can still find it really cheap if you look around. The first set, second edition is really cheap. UFO is really cheap. Wilderness is really cheap. Seance is really cheap. There's two sets. Fall that's still like $50 unless it went up or down recently. And their final set, Native, which is like $150 because they printed way less of it. I guess they already knew their doom was impending at that time.
But what about the Hello Kitty set?
Yeah, that one I think I don't know. I don't know how much that one is now.
But I mean, when we're talking like more expensive, we're still talking like less than MSRP here. Like that's
except for Native. Native is they printed way less of it.
Yeah,
so somebody's got probably hoarded a million boxes. That was another thing with this game was they made a lot of it and then people were just sitting on it because it was going to be worth a lot of money. This is the next Pokemon, bro. This is the next Pokemon. And so there's people with probably like hundreds of boxes that are like, oh man.
And let's not even talk about single cards. There is no game better. If you just want a huge stack of cards, buying big lots on eBay is crazy for MetaZoo. I know sellers that sell their MetaZoo bulk lots by the pound.
Yeah.
By the kilogram. I know
I've,
lots where they're like, literally, I don't care what's in this. It's 200 pounds of MetaZoo. Please take it.
But yeah, so MetaZoo, wacky game. If you do get some, maybe half the life total, because every time I've tried to play this game sealed, you have 1,000 life points, and stuff does like 30 damage. So you're just like, you're playing through the game, and you're like, was this gonna end at any point? We just like, I feel like I've attacked you 300 times, and you're still alive. So what's up with that? They have like a card called Power Up Red that gives your thing 100 damage. And that's like giving something to power in Magic or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So MetaZoo, weird game, really cheap, worth checking out just for the novelty, bizarre jankness of it.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to Speedrobo, Mr. Rhydon's favorite game. We got Argent Saga.
Yup.
He worked on this game.
Blast from my past. I worked on this game as a card designer for a brief spell. Not to get into it too much, not a fun gig. And
that's an understatement.
Yeah. And if we want to talk like Duel Masters clones, Argent Saga is worth checking out because it is how to fuck that up. Like, everything that could have gone wrong with the Duel Masters clone went wrong with Argent Saga. Remember how Mr. Lainz earlier was talking about how you don't want to attack your opponent in Battle Spirit Saga? Okay. Multiply that by 15 for Argent Saga, because literally every card in there is a shield break on par with like Holy Awe from Duel Masters. The Duel Masters people know what I'm talking about. Like, if you even sneeze,
all four of you know.
Yeah,
Holy
all 4
no.
of you know. But, like, if you even sneeze in your opponent's general direction, Argent Saga, they will flip
Return
up.
2 cards to your hand. Discard your everything.
Yep. Wipe
Destroy
your
any
board.
monster. Boom.
Yeah. I get a look at your hand, rip 3 cards. Like, it's insane. It's literally just like lose the game if you attack your opponent. So the best decks in this game are control decks that sit with 2 thumbs up their ass, doing nothing for literally 4 hours until they have enough resources to just kill their opponent.
But if you're not
Mis-
playing competitively, you can not do that. But this is on the list. Another one that it's really cheap. I think
Dirt cheap.
Miniature Market was getting rid of this for like $12 a box. I think they might finally be out, but you should be able to find the first 3 sets pretty cheap. The 4th set, the final set, is a lot a bit more expensive than the first 3. First 3, real cheap though. Yeah, this Shield game, like Speed was saying, all of the shields are set cards. They're not random cards off the top of the deck like other Shield games. They're a set card amount of cards, and they all do ridiculous things when you attack them. So, it's like kind of how not to do the shield system. It turns out you kind of do need the shields to sometimes not be bombs that
Yeah.
kill you.
I super recommend every game designer try Argent Saga because it's cheap and it is such a phenomenal lesson in, oh, I don't want to do this because it's bad. Good lesson.
Get out of here. All right, next game I got is Exodus. Any of you guys ever play Exodus?
I have played it. It's been a while, but I also back the first time around with TCG Buzz, before I had my first of many existential crises. I was in lots and lots of talks with the Exodus team, and
That's
they
cool.
seemed like really, really cool people. And I think the biggest selling point for Exodus is the artwork. I think it's one of the best looking trading card games around. It is gorgeous.
Yep. So Exodus, kind of a creature battler, but the big thing in this game is that creatures don't have stats at all. And your deck's 20 cards, and you draw 3 every turn. It's just like, oh, what? If you're not saying what at that point, your creature's power is how many resources you put under them, which the resources is another 20 card deck that you also draw 3 of every turn. And you can make you stack your resources, put a guy on top of it. There's 3 energy on that guy, he's 3 power. It's like, okay. And yeah,
I dig it. I really like that system. It feels very fast paced. It feels like the game is always constantly changing. You're never sitting around with a handful of dead cards you don't want to play.
you're slapping that stuff down
Mhm.
until the game's over.
Yeah.
Which might be pretty fast. You have 10 life points, and you, like I just said, you can make a stack of up to 3 cards. But you got your reaction cards, your spell cards too. Those don't cost anything. It's basically Yu-Gi-Oh with the spell cards. The weird thing about this game is that the creatures don't have effects either, except for rares in the first couple sets. I don't think they added effect not rare creatures until like maybe the last couple sets. Maybe they never added them. I don't know. I think they had 4 main sets, the box that I was woogling around on the screen, and then 3 other sets. They have 2 sets of starter decks. At Black Friday and New Year's, the Exodus website usually has a sale where I think boxes are like $30 or $40, which this is kind of deceiving. These are 12-pack boxes. I think half of this is air. This is their first set. I don't know if they just didn't have another size that they could print in, but it is a weirdo game that you should check out. And even if you don't want to buy anything, their YouTube channel has a couple really good gameplay videos where like they got like editing and all this kind of stuff to make it look fast and exciting. Well, I mean, it is fast and exciting, but gameplay videos that are well produced, and you can be like, yeah, this game's crazy. I don't know what's going on here. So Exodus, yeah.
I super recommend Exodus because I genuinely think it's an example of a tiny little team doing a card game right. I really do. I stand by that.
And my final game I have is, speaking of Duel Masters clones, I got Hecatomb. You know what the craziest thing about Hecatomb is? Let's open this starter deck right here and get the cards out. Yeah, these are the cards. They're plastic pentagons that people usually complain about how they smell, but I don't
I
know.
love the smell of them.
These don't even. Oh, I guess if I fan them out, they kind of have a weird plasticky smell. But this is a very odd game that's almost like Duel Masters.
Pentagon, neurons activate.
Duel Masters that took some of Digimon's mechanics like 20 years before Digimon got made. I just keep saying 20 years. That's not the right number, but I'm just going
No,
to
it
keep saying
is.
it anyway. Yeah, this came out in like 2005 or 6.
2004, I thought.
Somewhere around there.
Literally
That's
20
why I
years.
In
haven't.
that range. In that range.
Yeah.
Pre-recession.
So the cards are these plastic pentagons that have these clear borders because the main mechanic in this game is that you need to stack monsters on top of each other, and they add. Watch this not even be a. Oh, that's not even a monster. My whole example's ruined. That's neither one of these monsters. This is a god. I need 2
Who
monsters.
cares
All right.
about gods? There we go.
We got two monsters, and when you put them together, they add their power stats. So you got 4 and 4, so this is 8. And you attack your opponent not to reduce their life points, but to steal their souls. Because in this game, you need to end the world. That's the goal. You need to get 20 souls, and that ends the world by your whatever horrible monstrosities that you have. It's a very horror themed game. It's hard to.
If you were, a millennial kid and you remember, younger millennial, maybe even some of them older Gen Z kids, I call them the Phineas and Ferb generation. And you remember seeing advertisements on TV for Redakai, and you're like, oh, that looks so cool. This is that, but with a game that's good.
Yeah.
Check out Maw Blade. This is a 8 cost, 6 power haunted lawnmower.
That's going to end the world, bud. That's it. It's over.
Yeah.
Oh, it's over. No, Hecatomb is literally like, what if Redakai didn't suck? Absolutely.
It's got a couple other cool mechanics though. The text box here has this blue shade in it, and that means if you stack it on top of a blue monster, and this will become filled in, and if it's the right color, you get extra stuff. There's keywords too. Oops, is that upside down? Whatever. There's keywords in it. There almost might be too many keywords, but it's a neat game. It's like Duel Masters, but then what if we just made it really weird?
Yes.
We joked earlier about Duel Masters getting like a crossover in Magic, but if there's any WotC game that deserves it, I think it's Hecatomb.
Dude, it frustrates me so much how spineless Wizards is with their own back catalog of game IPs. Like, doing a Hecatomb Universes Beyond set for Magic would be genuinely incredible. There would be a subsect of people that would lose their goddamn minds if they did that.
I want my lawnmower commander.
I do have some beef with Hecatomb, though, and that's that its print quality is genuinely awful. The plastic that they make the cards out of is prone to drying out and cracking. So if
you do have to be careful with that.
Yeah, they chip. They chip real easy. And so when you're shuffling them, especially with how much age this plastic has, you're going to shatter your cards.
Yeah, this is like the only card game where it's acceptable to do the brrr, that is at the riffle shuffle brrr, because how else are you going to shuffle these? They're plastic pentagons. You can't do the mash shuffle.
Nope. It's rough.
I guess you could try.
I as cool as, and here's my other complaint, and I know that this is kind of like a stupid complaint because I know Hecatomb means something different, but every time I hear Hecatomb, I think hexagon, and I constantly want to say that I constantly want to say that the cards are hexagons. They aren't. They're pentagons.
They're not. They're pentagons. Yeah.
Pentacomb.
Because they're supposed to be a pentagram, right? Because it's Satan and shit. But yeah, no, Hecatomb's great.
Man, I really wish there was a way for me to safely play Hecatomb without destroying my amazing cards. And
no.
You know what, guys?
This transition, this is the one game where this transition probably doesn't work. Do it anyway, though.
Guys, what if I told you There was a secret.
What? Wait, was a secret?
There's a secret. Doctors don't want you to know about it.
That the ducks are free?
What if I told you that there was a way to get all these games here, all those games sitting right back there? Yep, right, all those games. What if I told you there was a way to get all those games for $20? Not 3 payments of $20, not 3 payments of $19.95. No,
Sometimes
$20.
half a payment of $20.
Sometimes even $15.
I've seen it go for 10.
It's 10.
May we introduce you to the glory that is Tabletop Simulator. It kind of invalidates our point of like, here's some cool, cheap games. But you know what's the cheapest game out there? All of them. Having Steam Workshop support. It's crazy.
You play this. You can play this one on there. You can play this one on there. You can play that one on there. That one on there. That one on there. I'm not sure about that one, but probably you play that one on there. You play that one on there. Yeah, you play this one on there. That one on there. This one on there. You play it's if it's a card game, you play that one on there. If it's a card game, if you're listening to audio, I'm so sorry. I'm just saying this one, that one, this one, that one, a whole bunch.
But the big point is like our initial talking point of like, hey, if you want to get into game design, you need to play games. Buy Tabletop Simulator and just go through the Steam Workshop and just hit subscribe. Try them all.
I literally typed in TCG and then just got most of them. I played a lot of games on Tabletop Simulator.
You know, in this modern world, it's often a lot easier to get people to sit down and play games. I mean, you know, that way. I mean, like, if the 3 of us wanted to play a game right now, I mean, we are literally all in different states, right? But we can hop on Tabletop Simulator and play some Neopets trading card game right now, you know?
Yeah. I mean, and that's the point of it. So I'm done. I'm out. That's
Two Lainz is our guest. Would you like to give us some plugs for the kind of stuff you do?
You can follow me on youtube.com at Card Game Crypt. I couldn't remember my own channel URL. Card Game Crypt. If it's card games, I do a lot of videos for indie card games and dead card games, sort of, sometimes when I can stop talking about new games because there's new games every 3 seconds. I do how to play videos for games. If you need a how to play video for your game, I can make you one. I do gameplay videos. If you need a gameplay video with edited and stuff, yeah, I can do that too. I do pack openings that are like variety pack openings where I talk about the actual game instead of just going, wow, this is very pretty card. It's shiny. I like it when it's shiny and woman pretty. Let's see, what else do I do? What have I not said? I do like little reviews and previews of just a lot of games. If I do variety stuff. So if you can't play game, you can go to my channel and hear me yap about mini games. That's what I do.
And the video I'm going to link for people to check out your channel. I'm going to link the 3 mechanics that people should steal for their games, because you talk in depth about On the Edge in that one, and we talk about it here.
You can see me move the cards around on the table and throw one in a glass of water at one point. Spoiler alert.
He's funny. That's why you should subscribe.
I try to make the funnies. I don't words too good live, but like if you give me the time to write a script, it's all right.
I thought your Gen Con video was a laugh a minute, to be completely honest. It was so fun.
Would you say that your content is interesting?
Yeah. You could probably interesting counter this podcast.
I'm not going to.
Yeah, no, that'd take way too long.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know in the comments what trading card games you think are like the necessary games for people to play to really be able to...
Let's just go ahead and say big 3. What are your card games that aren't the big 3? No Magic, no Yu-Gi-Oh, no Pokemon. Those, you should play those 3 because those are the biggest ones and you should know about them.
I want to end on that awkward silence.
I thought somebody was going to follow that up with something.
So I was trying to think of examples of like, yeah, man, my big 3 are the Pokemon trading figure game,
Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duels, and I was trying to think of one for Magic, and my
Oh, that would have
brain
been great.
blanked.
You just go back to the Arc system, I guess.
No, the Magic one is what's that funny like PC RPG for Magic?
Chandelar.
Oh,
Yeah.
Chandelar! I
Shit,
love
there you go.
Chandelar so much.
I put all this stuff back where it was.
Good luck.